Hey guys, it's Katie, and I'm here today to tell you about the books I removed from my TBR this year. But I'm also going to tell you about the books that I am on the fence about. I have removed all of these books from my TBR and my Goodreads list, and I've put them in a notebook and typed them up, and I'm just gonna whip right through them. I'm not gonna really stop and elaborate on why I've gotten rid of a large chunk of these books, mostly because just for the sake of time and everything. But I will say that several of these books will be negotiable. Like if you guys tell me in the comments down below or on Twitter that I absolutely should read a book or a series and give me good reasoning and rationale, I may consider adding it back on. But the ones that I most want to hear about are going to be the ones I'm on the fence about. I really, really like your opinion about them. I'll get to those later in the video though. So first, let's just launch right into the books I actually removed and I'm just really, really not planning on reading at all. As I said, I'm just going to list them and we'll go from there. So, first two books that I removed from my TBR are Spindlefire and Winterglass, both by Lexa Hillier. And I got rid of Carve the Mark and the Fates Divide by Veronica Roth. Got rid of Jaws by Peter Benchley. The Library at Montchar by Scott Hawkins. The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. The Women in the Castle by Jessica Shatterley. Oath of Fealty, Kings of North, Echoes of Betrayal, Limits of Power, and The Crown of Renewal, all by Elizabeth Moon. The Wicked Deep by Shay Ehrenstow, I think that's how you say her name. Blackbringer and Silk Singer by Laini Taylor. The Five Love Languages for Singles by Gary Chapman. The Reign of the Earth by A.C. Gauguin, I think that's how you say the name. The Invention of Hugo Cabret by Brian Selznick. Mageborn, Magefall, Battle Mage, Blood Mage, Chaos Mage, all by Aaron Stephen. Then The Great Gas Bag by Joy Behar. Daughter of Smoke and Bone, Days of Blood and Starlight, Dreams of Gods and Monsters, all by Laini Taylor. The Afterlife of Holly Chase by Cynthia Howard. Fall on Your Knees by Anne-Marie MacDonald. That's one of the ones that's kind of negotiable. The Sea Inside by Philip Hoare. Clark's World 94 by Neil Clark. Vicious by V.E. Schwab. I know I'm probably going to get a lot of just hate in the comments about not reading anything by V.E. Schwab because I've got some of her other books listed later in the list. But I've talked to a lot of people who've read it, and I've heard incredibly mixed things. And I've talked to a lot of people that I trust about when it comes to books and my book taste and everything. And based off of everything I've heard, it just doesn't sound like that series would be, like just her books would be for me. But maybe one day I will try one of them. There are a few that sound more intriguing than others. I can tell you it will not be the Darker Shade of Magic trilogy, but I would be willing to try either the Archived or Vicious. Maybe. We'll see. That one is potentially negotiable. Maybe. Rook and Stiletto, both by Daniel O'Malley, are other books that I've removed. Then, as I said, A Darker Shade of Magic, A Gathering of Shadows, and A Conjuring of Light, all by V.E. Schwab. The Island at the End of Everything by Kieran Millwood Hargrave. The History Boys by Alan Bennett. I've seen the movie, and the movie is great, but I don't know if I want to read the actual play. But if you've read it and you think it's worth it, let me know. Next is Mask of Shadows by Lindsay Miller. Then Seraphina and Shadowscale by Rachel Hartman. Next are Scarlet and the Keepers of Light, Scarlet and the Dragon's Burden, Scarlet and the Queen of the New World, all by Brandon Charles West. Then All But My Life by Klein Gerda Weissman, which I think might be negotiable. But I don't know anyone who's read it except for one person. And so yeah, I don't know. That one's potentially kind of an on the fence one, but it just sounds so depressing. So I don't know if I want to read it. We'll see. But that's another one that's kind of negotiable, maybe. Then The Heroic Misadventures of Hiccup and How to Train Your Dragon, both by Cressida Cowell. Then Being There by Jerzy Konzinski. I think that's how you say it. I don't know. But then Daughter of the Pirate Queen and Daughter of the Siren Queen, both by Tricia Levenseller. Zero at the Bone by Jane Zaville. The Circle by Dave Eggers. Victoria by Daisy Goodwin. The Daily Show by Chris Smith. The Narrow Wolf books by Rex Stout, and that is a series that's encompassed like, I don't even know how many books. It's a lot of books, but I removed all of them. The Elric Saga by Michael Moorcock. I think that includes like 9 books or something ridiculous, and I don't know, I just removed all of those. Then The Ladies of Mandragon, The Witches of Wenchar, and The Hand of Magic, all by Barbara Hambly. The Perfect Horse by Elizabeth Lutz. Longitude by Dava Sable. I don't know how to say his name. Snow, Glass, and Apples by Neil Gaiman. An Officer and a Spy by Robert Harris. New Jack by Ted Conover. The Romanovs by Simon Sebag Montefiore. The Imitation Game and The Sherlockian, both by Graham Moore. The Plantagenet and Tudor novels by Philippa Gregory. Fantasyland novels by Kristen Ashley. The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich by William L. Schreier. The Killing of Polly Carter and A Meditation on Murder by Robert Thorogood. A Crown of Stars by Kate Elliott. Murder of a Medici Princess by Caroline P. Murphy. That one is also negotiable because you know I'm garbage for the Medici family. Like, hi, it's me. Then Girls Like Us by Rachel Lloyd. That one's also kind of negotiable. Maybe. We'll see. Then the Iron Druid Chronicles by, I think it's Seamus Kearney. I could be wrong about that. I don't remember who the author is off the top of my head. Lies My Teacher Told Me by James W. Loudon. JFK Biography by Michael O'Brien. Life and Death of JFK by Belle Smokes. Abraham Lincoln by Carl Sandburg. If I find out that Carl Sandburg is actually the best biographer of Abraham Lincoln, then I will add it back on. But I'm trying to find a really, really good Abraham Lincoln biography, and I'm just having a lot of trouble. But I've heard Carl Sandburg is decent, but if I find out that he was actually the best one, then as I said, I'll add it back on. The $1 Billion Spy by David E. Hoffman. Dead Wake, Eric Larson. Red Notice by Bill Broden. H is for Hawk by Helen MacDonald. So the next couple that I'm going to mention are all by the same author, and they're all negotiable, and they are Summer, Across the Long Sea, Winter, and the Stonehill Downs, all by Sarah Remy. Then Where'd You Go, Bernadette by Maria Semple. The Sea Witch by Sarah Henning. Rage of Dragons by Evan Winter. The Blade Itself, Before They Are Hanged, and The Argument of Kings, all by Joe Abercrombie. The Diviners, The Lair of Dreams, and Before the Devil Breaks You by Libba Bray. Bellwether by Susanna Kersley. The Banished of Muirwood, Ciphers of Muirwood, Void of Muirwood, Wretched of Muirwood, Blight of Muirwood, and The Scourge of Muirwood, all by Jeff Wheeler. Then The Eagle of the Ninth, The Silver Branch, Lantern Bearers, The Sword at Sunset, Dawn Wind, Sword Song, The Shield Ring, and The Three Legions, all by Rosemary Sutcliffe. Then The Dragon Grial, I think that's how you say it, by Lucius Shepard. Then Lucretia Borgia by Sarah Bradford. That one's also potentially negotiable because Renaissance and Renaissance garbage. Hey. Then The Queens of Inishleer by Tessa Grattan. The Falconer and the Fallen Kingdom, both by Elizabeth May. If We Were Villains by M.L. Rio. The Walking Land by Callie Bates. The Winter King, Enemy of God, and Excalibur, all by Bernard Cornwell. Prince of Fools, The Liar's Key, and The Wheel of Oshheim, all by Mark Lawrence. The Moon and the Sun by Vonda N. McIntyre. Now these next few are quite a bit. The Ship Who Sang, Partnership, The Ship Who Searched, The City Who Fought, The Ship Who Won, The Ship Errant, all by Anne McCaffrey. The Bookseller by Cynthia Swanson. The Miniaturist by Jessie Burton. The Song of Dragons trilogy by Daniel Aronson. The Martian by Andy Weir. Legends by Robert Littell. Only the Stones Survive by Morgan Llewellyn. Carton Quidden, Drowned Ammit, The Spellcoats, and The Crown of Dalemark, all by Diana Wynne-Jones. Tess of the Road by Rachel Hartman. Skraelings by Rachel Tinsley Kitoliak. I think that's, I don't know how to say her name. Kivwick and the Mermaids by Noel McDermott. The Path of Destiny, The Path of Decisions, and The Path of Peace, all by Mike Shelton. The Power of Myth by Joseph Campbell. So The Lord of Snow and Shadows, The Prisoner of the Iron Tower, and The Children of the Serpent Gate, all by Sarah Ashe. The Expected One, The Book of Love, and The Poet Prince, all by Kathleen McGowan. The Archived and the Unbound by V.E. Schwab. The 100-Foot Journey by Richard C. Moray. Given to the Sea and Given to the Earth by Mindy McGinnis. Just Like That by Clara Barrow. Sherlock Holmes, The Breath of God by Guy Adams. The Glass Spare and The Cursed Sea by Lauren DiStefano. Markswoman and Mahimata by Rati Mehrotra. We're going with it. Mapmaker's War, The Chronicle of the Secret River, The Plague Diaries, all by Ronlyn Dominique. Prince of Thorns, King of Thorns, and Emperor of Thorns, all by Mark Lawrence. The Riddle Master of Head, Heir of the Sea and Fire, and The Harpist in the Wind, all by Patricia A. McKillop. Swords of Good Men, Blood Will Follow, and Path of Gods by Snorri Kristjansson. Legend, King Beyond the Gate, Waylander, Quest for Lost Heroes, In the Realm of the Wolf, The First Chronicles of Druce the Legend of Deathwalker, Winter Warriors, Hero in the Shadows, White Wolf, and The Swords of the Night, all by David Gemmell. The Chronicles of Crestamanchi, or Crestamanchi, I'm not sure which, by Diana Wynne-Jones. The Unremembered and The Trial of Intentions by Peter Aurelian. The Cruel Prince, The Wicked King, and The Queen of Nothing, all by Holly Black. Convince me. I have kind of toyed with this one. It's not on the shelf, but it's up for debate. So let me know down below what you think of it, if you liked it and if you didn't, and why or why not, and just try and convince me to read it. Norse Mythology by Neil Gaiman. To Kill a Kingdom by Alexandria Christo. Furyborn and Thornlight by Claire Legrand. Perdido Street Station by China Miéville, I think that's how you say her name. The Singing Bones by Sean Tan. 4 by Veronica Roth. Camber of Caldy by Catherine Kurtz. The Crimson Queen by Alec Hudson. Dragon God, Dragon Dreams, and Dragon Mage, all by Ava Richardson. The Watchmaker of Filigree Street by Natasha Pulley. The Mermaid Singing by Lisa Covey. Ace of Shades, King of Fools, both by Amanda Foody, Talon, Sea Queen, and Exodus, all by Michael Jones Plouffe, The Light We Lost by Jill Santopolo, the James Bond series by Ian Fleming, which is, as I said, like 16 books or something ridiculous like that, and last but not least, Throne of Glass by Sarah J. Maas. Those are all of the books that I completely removed and pretty much have no interest in reading. And as I said, there are the few that I pointed out that are up for debate. If you'd like to make an argument for it, I might reconsider, but it would have to be a strong argument and well-reasoned, because I am that petty. So try and convince me. And now we're going to launch into the books that I'm on the fence about, and there are a lot less of those, but these are the books I really, really want to hear your opinions on, and I want you to tell me whether or not I should read them or not, because I don't want to say I don't want to read them, but I also don't want to say that I want to read them. I'm just very, very torn. Either it's based on something that I heard about the books or just my personal feelings and just kind of not knowing how I feel about it. The first book I'm on the fence about is The Wedding Date by Jasmine Guillory. The second one is The Power by Naomi Alderman. Next is Astrophysics for People in a Hurry by Neil deGrasse Tyson. Then Washington, A Life by Ron Chernow. Next is I Am Malala by Malala Yousafzai. Then Hidden Figures by Margot Lee Shetterly. The Witches, Salem by Stacy Schiff. The Tombs by Deborah Schomburg. All the President's Men by Carl Bernstein. The Secret History by Donna Tartt. The Amulet of Samarkand, The Golem's Eye, and Ptolemy's Gate, all by Jonathan Stroud. The Captive Prince Trilogy by C.S. Pacat. Finnegan of the Rock, Froy of the Exiles, Quintana of Karen, all by Melina Marquetta. Three Dark Crowns, One Dark Throne, and Two Dark Reigns by Kendra Blake. Divergent, Insurgent, and Allegiant, all by Veronica Roth. Half a King, Half the World, and Half a War by Joe Abercrombie. The Briar King, The Charnel Prince, The Blood Knight, and The Born Queen, all by Greg Keyes. The Kiss of Deception, The Heart of Betrayal, and The Beauty of Darkness by Mary E. Pearson. City of Lies by Sam Hawke. A Study in Charlotte by Brittany Cavallaro. Atlas Shrugged by Ayn Rand. The Grisha Short Stories by Leigh Bardugo. And Sea Fire by Natalie C. Parker. Now, I know some of you might see a few books on there that you are 100% going to recommend to me, but before you do, I might as well give some reasons for some of the really, really popular ones, because I want you to understand kind of why I'm on the fence about it before you throw me and tell me to read it. The first really popular one on here that I know a lot of people are going to tell me to automatically read is I Am Malala by Malala Yousafzai. I know a lot about Malala and her story already, and I just wonder if by reading the book, it's going to give me a lot more insight into the story that I already know. I mean, I've seen her interviewed countlessly. I've seen her, I've seen several articles written about her, and I just wonder what I would really get from the book. So if you guys have read it, let me know your thoughts and kind of let me know if it's something that I should definitely read. Another one on here that's probably super popular is the Captive Prince trilogy is pretty popular on BookTube. I have heard quite a few polarizing things about it though, and there are some content things in there that are potentially cringy, and I just don't know if it's something I want to read about, but because I've never read it, I don't know what to think about it. So let me know what your thoughts are, or I don't know, just let me know a little bit more about it. I know a fair amount about it, and I know a lot of people, even people that I trust, are recommending it, but I just have certain hesitation about reading it, but I'm also very interested in reading about it, so I'd like to hear some of your views on it and give me your reasoning once again behind why you're telling me to read it or not read it. Another really popular series is the Three Dark Crowns, or whatever it's called, the Kendra Blake books. I've just keep reading the premise, and I wonder if it's just, I don't know, it just seems like it's been done before. Like a lot of books have, and that's actually a lot of the reason I removed a lot of them. Just the premises sounded the same, and I'm just like, this sounds the same. All of it. So I'm just wondering, just tell me what makes that series unique and why I should pick it up. I'm more inclined to pick it up than not, but there are just some things about it that just sound repetitive and overdone, but also has a new spin on it. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. And then I know a big one is the Divergent series by Veronica Roth. I've seen the movies, I know all about the books, I know what happens, and I'm just wondering if it's worth it for me to actually read, like take the time to read them. I know I'll probably get through them pretty quickly if I do actually choose to sit down and read them, but let me know if you really think it's absolutely worth it for me to give it a try. A Study in Charlotte, I know, is super popular on BookTube. My biggest hesitation, and it's just a weird hang up that I have personally about it. It has nothing to do with the book or the author or anything. It literally has to do with weird things that I have in my head. I am a huge Sherlock Holmes fan, like across all mediums in many, many forms. I've read the original works, I've watched the movies, I've watched a BBC show, I've watched just as many adaptations of Sherlock Holmes and Watson's story as I can get my hands on. I am all about that. As I said, I have my dumb hang-ups. I'm not disregarding it completely because, as I said, I'm like Holmes garbage. So, I mean, it's more of personal things that I have hang-ups about, but it's just like the idea of, I don't know. Maybe I will give it a try, but there was just something about it that was rubbing me the wrong way, and I don't know what it is. I mean, I do know what it is, but it's hard to articulate it. So convince me as to why I should give them a try, being the avid Sherlock Holmes fan that I am, and just, I don't know, just convince me. I'm not saying no. I'm not, but I'm not fully sold yet either. I know the Grisha short stories, you guys are probably going to tell me are worth it, but I've heard mixed things about whether they actually add a lot or not. So if you tell me they're going to add a lot to the world, I'll give them a read. But if you're going to tell me they're just kind of like random extra things that aren't worth my time, then I'm probably not going to. So just let me know what you think of the short story book. And then the last one that I know is pretty popular, especially since it recently came out, is Seafire. I am literally pirate garbage. Like, hi, you're learning all about my favorite things in this video. It's cool. But the idea of it being kind of a Mad Max on water kind of thing is just rubbing me the wrong way. I am not a fan of the Mad Max movies. I just didn't care. Especially the last one. It just literally felt like it had no plot. I was just dying the entire time I was watching it. But I was watching it with my parents, so I mean, that's, a different story. But I don't know. Just try and sell me on it. As I said, I'm not saying no because I love pirate things. For all the books that I removed from my TBR this year and the books that I'm on the fence about, please, please, please let me know what you think, particularly about the on the fence books and the few that I mentioned earlier that if you can convince me, I might reconsider on. And just comment below or go on social media and tell me. And if I don't get a lot of comments within the next couple of weeks or so, I'm probably just going to start doing a thread on Twitter and having people vote that way. So yeah, that's about all I've got for you today. So as always, feel free to like, subscribe, comment, follow me on social media. I have a Twitter and a Goodreads, which are linked below. And I have other social media sites upon request if you'd like. And of course, I will come back with another video for you guys again soon. Okay, bye!